shit. We're here with Jesus again.
What's
What's up,
up,
man?
dude?
Uh,
That intro really disturbs me.
Come on, man.
I
It's
don't
it's
know,
supposed to
man.
be a little disturbing.
It is.
Yeah, I saw your documentary today.
What'd you think, dude?
It was pretty good, dude. It was pretty
Yeah?
good, and I was the ending was it was really good. I was like, there better be some fucking something crazy going on to justify you guys breaking into that fucking safe house, hottie house, or whatever.
Now you see why I wasn't worried about the owners suing me. It's like, oh, you want to sue me when you have all these contraband items
Yeah, but
just sitting in a weird dark basement with chains hanging from the ceiling, you maniacs?
I don't, dude. I missed the chains hanging from the ceiling. Somehow I
Yeah,
missed
they
it. There
were
was
in there.
like what, like slave chains? Like what are we talking about?
I don't know what they were using those chains for, but it was weird looking, dude. And then they had there was that they had a sign mounted to the ceiling that said outlaw shit.
Outlaw shit.
It
Yeah, I
was
saw
just
that.
a weird place, dude.
So everybody thought it was some sort of jihadi fucking operation. They're just cooking meth, essentially. Is what's going on.
Well, yeah, no, I still think that there's some weird stuff going on, man. And
Yeah.
I can tell you kind of about my working theory that we kind of vetted with the locals.
Well, this is the documentary. I tried to share it so some of you have seen it, so you know what we're talking about here. But yeah, Davey went undercover in Dearborn, and it's a pretty awesome. And this is just part one, right? Is there a part
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, we'll see what happens with part two.
two? So you got more,
Yeah,
basically.
we've got more.
You're holding on to. Okay.
Yeah, there's more stuff.
So tell us about it, man. Tell us, tell everybody about the documentary for the people that don't know about it yet.
So we went to Dearborn. First of all, I got canceled. I talked about this on Sarah Gonzalez's podcast today. And I got canceled for making jokes about Muhammad. And because I got canceled, I had some extra time on my hands. And I was like, hey, let's go up to Dearborn, Michigan, the largest Muslim majority city in America, and see if all the crazy rumors are true about this place. Obviously, there was like a lot of heat on social media saying, yeah, they're playing the call to prayer over loudspeakers and it's crazy. There's political and religious intimidation. There's ISIS inspired plots that are getting busted up by the FBI. There's this street that got named after a guy named Osama Sablani, who's a alleged terrorist sympathizer. So there's all this stuff going on, right? And they're saying that it's an Islamic takeover and the town is, essentially being overrun, right? So that's why we went to find out if all these rumors that we were hearing on social media were true. And so that was the idea. Go in, try to maintain objectivity, talk to the locals. The original idea, dude, was that we were going to go and pretend to be gay and try to get a gay pride parade started in this Muslim city,
I
right?
mean, that should be part three. You should
That,
definitely do that.
that we
That
still
sounds
want to
like
do that.
that's so
Dude, but once we got there, we realized that it's actually a very I don't know how it's eerie when you go to this town, dude, because there's no one out. Even on Saturday night, there's no one out. I mean, they had a strip club and a couple bars, but there's just not people hanging out on the streets, congregating. It's not like Austin or San Antonio or Houston where I could go downtown and just interact with a bunch of people at any time during the evening, right? This is a very private, very tight-lipped community, and a lot of that seemed to be kind of coordinated. It was very strange.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, you kept talking about a culture of fear. So it
Yeah.
seems like everybody's kind of walking on eggshells. They don't want to upset the community, the local
Right.
community.
Well, and
So
a lot of that's the mayor's fault, dude, because he's
you're right.
basically telling people that don't agree with him, like, hey, you're not welcome in this town, and I'll throw a parade when you leave. He
Yeah.
literally said that to a guy,
Yeah, the guy that was
which,
complaining about the street being named after some Hamas guy, right? Hamas or
yeah,
Hezbollah.
Osama Sablani, he's the founder of the Arab American News. You can look him up. I mean, the guy's done some cool stuff, but at the end of the day, yeah, he's condoning Hezbollah and Hamas, which, I don't know how you feel about all that stuff, but to me, that's all very Muslim Brotherhood adjacent. And we've seen what happens with those guys in Iran, dude. Like that's what's happening in Iran right now. No one's talking about that either.
Well, there's a
But
revolution
Iran,
going on in
yeah, there's
Iran.
a
I mean, they seem to be overthrowing the government right now in Iran. Like government
yeah,
buildings are being burned down. I was just seeing clips on X. It's
yeah,
crazy.
dude.
So you put this out at the same time, like we got that Nick Shirley stuff in
hmm
Minnesota with the
Nick
fraud.
Shirley, Nick Shirley showed up in Dearborn the day after we left.
Yeah, yeah. With the I remember that. That was when Jake Lang was out there slapping the Quran with the
I
bacon.
can't
Right?
stand that guy, dude. I want to fight him so bad. If anyone knows Jake Lang personally and would like to arrange an absolute beatdown, I will beat the brakes off that guy.
So we're gonna get a what MMA or boxing? What is it gonna be?
Dude, whatever he would agree to. I mean,
Yeah.
realistically, I'd just like to run up on him in the streets. That guy is a fraud, dude, and he's a pussy too.
I mean, why are you? Why do you? I mean, I look. Explain why you hate him so much. I don't.
Uh, he's a grifter.
I'm not a fan.
In the absolute worst way. There's a reason why none of the other J6ers will associate with Jake Lang because he's a fraud. He's an asshole. He's an idiot. I mean, anyone that shows up in a town and start feel how you want to feel about the religion of Islam, right? But to show up and start slapping a Quran with bacon, to put a Quran in a pig's mouth, all in the name of clicks. I mean, this guy is an absolute insufferable pussy.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know, man. I think his tactics are like you said. They're basically there to get attention.
Yeah, dude, and he's gone and kissed the wall, so don't think for 1 second that
As
he is. Yeah, dude,
he's kissed the wall.
absolutely,
That's funny.
100%.
So I thought-
I mean, there's videos and pictures of it all over the internet.
Yeah. I don't know. I didn't know who the fuck the guy was until all of a sudden, the day after you left, that video was going viral, and I was like, oh, if there's a terrorist attack after this, I'm gonna blame Jake Lang.
Yeah, the only thing he's doing is just radicalizing and activating Muslim young people. That's
Yeah.
it.
So FYI, Street Gonzo will be here any minute now. He's running late, but
Oh yeah, he's basically a black guy, dude. He's late for everything.
yeah. Does he got the big dick too? Because that's the best part of being black.
I mean, allegedly, dude.
Yeah. So yeah, let's watch a little bit of the beginning. This is the call to prayer you were mentioning earlier.
Yeah,
And this is a big issue in the community where people are kind of sussed out by this, but nobody really wants to say anything. Is that correct?
that's exactly what's happening there. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we'll play it.
Do we look less suspicious than if the same
Three
car?
white guys in a Muslim neighborhood going up to the.
Are you guys right outside the mosque? Like, how far are you away?
No,
from
dude, that's the crazy part about this. This is like 2 blocks away, maybe 3 blocks away. We were a good distance away from the mosque that was playing this call to prayer.
So it just
It's loud.
So basically, the whole city can hear it, even if you're not close by.
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah.
And they try to compare it to church bells, but church. I don't know, man. Maybe I don't remember how loud church bells because I haven't heard church bells in forever. But does it go on as long as this and nearly as loud as this?
No, dude. And I mean, if you want to compare it to anything, there would have to be a church blasting gospel music at unacceptable decibels to even make a comparison like that. No, it is not the same at all.
I was reading some of the comments on your doc, and some of the suggestions were like to show up and blast Metallica. So maybe that's what you should do. Like part 3 should be you go try to set up a gay pride parade.
Yeah.
And then part 4, you like rally a ton of people with like as many speakers as you can, and everybody just blasts Metallica as soon as that starts playing. So you just drown it out with like good old fashioned heavy metal.
Don't they use that like in the Middle East as a torture technique too?
Well, yeah, our military does. Yeah, that was one of the with the waterboarding and all that shit. They would just like sleep deprive them forever, and then just blast like the same music over and over at like ridiculous levels until they went fuck. And they would go crazy. And I mean, I could imagine, listening to Metallica for 24 hours. That might get a little.
I think it's got to be something more annoying than that, though. Like maybe early Justin Bieber or something.
Yeah, but
the Pussycat Dolls.
You got to understand, to like a Muslim, they don't hear Metallica the same way we do.
Yeah, that's true.
Like to them, it's just like some alien shit, and it's loud and it's fucking aggressive, and
Yeah,
you know,
here's my thing with I mean honestly, I feel like in Dearborn, and I can get into this more in a little bit, but in Dearborn, I really feel like 80% of them are very cool people,
yeah. Well, that's always the case with everybody, pretty
you
much.
know? And then there's this 20% that is just crazy. It's like any religion, you get the radicals. It just seems to be a lot more predominant in the religion of Islam.
Well, would you say that they're loyal to America first, or are they loyal to their religion and their community? Because that's my concern with a lot of when we bring these
Yeah.
immigrants in. That's a lot.
Hmm.
I mean, if we can bring in some, because there are great ones that love America and they come in and they adopt the American identity and they become Americans.
Right.
Where other ones come and they recreate their home and they say they're Americans and they love the country, but it's down the list of priorities, right?
I mean, I think the Somalis in Minnesota are a perfect example of what you're talking about right there, man. Like, I don't think there's any intention to assimilate. I think they are very coordinated. Clearly, they're coordinated to be able to pull off a massive scam like this fake daycare deal that Nick Shirley exposed and other people exposed before him. So I think it's hard to tell, honestly. I mean, the Muslims have been in Dearborn since the 70s. I mean, that's really when they started coming, I would say, in mass. And I think we talked about like before that, Henry Ford was essentially, I mean, he wasn't importing them per se, but he didn't like working with other
The
ethnic
Jews.
groups, let's say. Yeah, he didn't like working with them,
We did
or
this last time, Davey. He
he,
wasn't a
he
fan of
didn't
the Jews.
he didn't like black people either. So
Really?
he preferred to work with Arabs. Yeah,
That's sad.
he preferred to work with Arabs. So I mean, yeah, I know, right? Like that's
Yeah.
kind of ridiculous. I mean, the first one I get, maybe not. I don't know.
I guess he never
Whatever,
heard some
dude.
good jazz music, man, back in the day. You know, you didn't
Yeah,
get
dude. All you need to
the
do is
right
get BB
blues,
King.
the right blues musicians. So yeah, it's I don't know. To me, this is gonna be. Would you see what's going on in Minnesota with the Somali fraud? And it almost seems like the Democrat politicians like Tim Walz, who I've heard they're going to arrest his ass, which I'm all for. I'm all for Tim
Dude,
Walz being arrested. But it looks like the Democrats are using these communities to run their schemes because they're not going to be loyal to America. They're not going to give a shit about robbing from America.
no, dude, they don't
They're
care at
going to
all. They
protect
care about
themselves.
votes. That's
Yeah.
why you got Jacob Frey throwing it back on stage with a bunch of Somalis because he wants their votes, dude. That's all it is.
I think it's more than that. I think they're fucking running schemes like with the daycare shit. I mean, allegedly,
Yeah.
I would not be surprised if they're using that money not just to enrich themselves, but they're funneling it back to Democrat candidates to fund
Yeah.
that.
Speaking of Tim Waltz, by the way, did you see my handle, Himothy Waltz? That's what I'm going by now.
Timothy Waltz,
Himothy Waltz. Yeah, that's me.
good one. Yeah, I hope they arrest that dude. I mean, I did a show last night talking about the lady who got hit
Yeah, yeah.
that hit the ICE
The
agent.
ice. Yeah,
Did you feel that?
I did, dude. I mean, that's a shame. Anytime someone loses their life like that, it's a shame. It's a tragedy. Like that's just terrible, right? And especially because the only reason people are out there doing this kind of stuff is because of political rhetoric. That is the only reason. You've got a guy like Walt saying, we're going to bring in the National Guard. We have to attack ICE. ICE and Trump are attacking. They're waging war on our city. Well, yeah, dude, that's going to rile some people up. And you got this, what's her name? Nicole Reed or something like that, right?
Who, the one
I
that
can't
got
remember.
killed last night?
Yeah.
Renee something, I think. I forget.
Oh, Renee George. Is that what it was? I don't know, dude.
No,
Whatever her
I
name is.
forgot. Always forget her last name. But yeah,
That's unbelievable, dude. We're supposed to be
cares about
saying her
her
name
name?
right now.
I
We're
don't care
supposed to
about
be
her
saying
name.
and remembering her name. But
I
yeah, so
feel bad for her kid. I don't necessarily feel bad for her because I mean, look,
what about her wife, dude? You feel bad for her
actions.
wife?
I think her wife is very responsible for what happened. Her wife even kind of admitted guilt to it because her wife's the one that got her doing this shit. And you're saying like, yeah, the political side, they're making ICE out to be the Gestapo, but they're also just straight up lying and trying to say like ICE doesn't have like legal authority to do what they do, and they absolutely do have legal authority to do what they do. So these people and this woman probably think like, oh, you know, this isn't a true police force. They can't arrest me. They can't. So when they go to say, hey, you're under arrest, get out of your car, I don't have to listen. I can just drive away. And
Right.
Who knows? Tim Pool made a pretty good video about it. Which
Oh yeah, I heard about that, dude, where he slowed it down and everything.
Yeah, I didn't really think about it, but when she first kind of backs up, that ICE agent that she hit was not in front of the car. She backs up and puts the ICE agent in front of her car and then hits the gas. So I don't know if she did it on purpose.
Yeah.
If she wasn't looking at him and just was looking at the guy at her driver's side and just hit the gas. But either way, look, man, this is like, you want to fucking LARP as a revolutionary in your car and break the law? Because, by the way, you can't just fucking impede traffic and impede a federal law enforcement officer with your vehicle.
No.
It's illegal to do that. So if you want to go break the law and LARP like you're some fucking revolutionary, that's the risk that's going to come with it.
Dude,
You want to use your car as a weapon, like.
I was at the Portland ICE detention facility when all of that was popping off, dude. And even those people knew, like, you can't cross this particular line. When the agents come out, they're gonna back us all up. If you start fucking with them, they're gonna light your ass up. Granted, they're using pepper balls, not actual bullets or whatever. But that, like, there's a proper way to protest. I have no problem with protesting, dude. That's your First Amendment right. Go get it, dude. Regardless of whether I agree with you or not. But once you are using your vehicle potentially as a weapon, I mean, at that point, all bets are kind of off.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I agree.
Sorry
dude.
if you can hear the dogs barking in the background.
Yeah, it's fine, man. It's fine.
Yeah.
So my thinking is, like, if this shit is going on in Minnesota, this level of law, this sort of collusion between government and the Somali immigrant population to essentially enrich themselves and steal taxpayer dollars, I would imagine there's probably similar shit going on in Dearborn as well. What do you think?
It's interesting that you mentioned that, dude, because one of the theories that we had about the safe house, right? I mean, you've already told your followers that we essentially you want to play that, and then I'll kind of explain what the working theory there is, because I think it kind of ties into the enrichment aspect. Yeah.
Okay, so we'll jump to this. So, little background, Davey. You went to the John Brown Gun Club. Was that who was the one who gave you the?
Oh, dude, it was the John Birch Society.
John Birch Society. They're very left wing, right? Aren't they very leftist?
No, apparently not.
I thought they were left.
They're basically like a bunch of dudes just sitting around talking about conspiracy theories.
Really? Maybe I'm confusing it with John Brown Gun Club. That's probably what I'm doing. No.
That could be. Yeah.
So they gave you.
I never heard of either one of them until I went to this meeting, and it was very bizarre. But we did get free pizza, so that was cool. And then this guy, when he found out we were filming a documentary, he was like, "Oh, well, I've got some interesting information." And then he drew us this map to a safe house, and he was like, "Hey, it's really dangerous." It was about 10 miles outside of Dearborn in a city called Hamtramck. Also very Muslim majority, but they're more Bangladeshi in that part of town. Yemenis and Bangladeshi over there. But anyway, so he gave us this tip and was like, "Hey, you shouldn't go over there. It's really sketchy. I don't want you guys getting in trouble or hurt." And we were like, we're going to go over there, so it's cool. But yeah, so that's kind of the setup for going over there.
So then you and Gary made the decision to break into the building, which
we didn't make a decision that we were going to break into the building. We made a decision that we were going to stake the building out and then kind of play it by ear depending on what we saw. Because this guy told us, the guy that gave us the tip, he was like, "Yeah, we've seen Arab guys going in and out of this building carrying stuff, and no one really knows for sure what's going on, but it's really sketchy, and we think there's jihadi activity."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing, Davey. I'm glad no one was there and no one shot you, because I would have to. I would feel really bad, bro, if you just broke in and got blasted by a shotgun. I would feel really
dude,
bad.
But imagine how famous we would be. We'd be as famous as Renee Good, dude.
Yeah, it's great. Being famous when you're dead is very helpful to you.
Yeah,
I mean, but I'm glad it didn't happen, because I would have to have the same stance as the lady who hit the cop. I'd be like, "Yeah, I love Davey, and I'm sorry he's dead, but he did break into a fucking house in the middle of the night with the mask on."
Yeah.
Yeah, so that sucks, but yeah, it's a risk you take. It's like you wanna act like a fucking like that lady in Minnesota. You want to act like a revolutionary in your vehicle. Like, yeah, you might fuck around and hit a cop with your car and get shot. Well,
You might.
You break into houses in the middle of the night with masks on. I was watching this. I was like, I'm so happy Davey's alive.
Appreciate that, dude.
Let's
Thank
watch
you.
this. Let's watch this. Hey, this is what is going. This is like the only music.
Oh yeah, we're dancing. We're dancing before we get to the safe house.
This is one thing I was like, where is the score for this documentary? There's like no score.
No score, dude. We just slammed it together.
So just not enough time, or you decide, was that a creative choice?
That was a creative choice. We wanted to focus on the content and not, put any music with it.
They missed out a little bit of the drama.
This particular, yeah, just let it speak for itself, That's Gary going nuts.
You guys are some troublemakers, man. That's for sure.
Yeah. Well, this was also after Gary took a shit on the side of the road because there weren't any bathrooms.
So you just took a shit on the side of the road, dude. I don't think you can go back to Dearborn after this, bro.
I don't think definitely not.
Yeah.
No, there was some guy that was like, "Hey, I'd love for you to come back and interview some of my friends and blah blah blah." And I was like, "Yeah, I'm not going back there."
Yeah, you go back and kidnapped, end up in fucking some Hezbollah prison.
Guantanamo Bay. All right. So
after a couple days of planning, we were ready to investigate the tip we received on a jihadi safe house about 10 miles outside of Dearborn in Hamtramck, Michigan.
We would be the worst cops ever.
Just so you know, there was also for sure a drug dealer like half a block away from this place.
Okay, like watching it to make sure it doesn't get raided or something.
No, I don't think he was watching the building necessarily. I think he was just dealing drugs. Cars kept pulling up to his house. He would walk outside. So the whole time we staked this thing out for like 6 hours, which I know is not an actual stakeout.
Is this a really bad neighborhood? I would imagine.
Yeah, it's pretty sketchy. There's also a this will become interesting. There's a mosque. So as we're looking at this picture of the steakhouse or of the safe house, there's a mosque located directly behind it, or to the side, I should say. Yeah, right there, literally right there.
Okay.
And then there is a motorcycle club, a clubhouse, about a block up the road.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'll explain why that's pertinent after.
Well,
after
yeah.
this.
I mean, they like meth.
They all do.
They love meth.
Horrible ass cops, bro.
Sad thing is we wouldn't be.
All right, so this is us gearing up. We're putting on our cameras, and the night vision camera is basically what we use for the entire sequence.
So I'm watching. This is why I'm happy you're alive. All right. I mean, like, you dress like this and you break into something. Like, what was your plan if you were to go in there and somebody like confronted you? Did you have a plan for that?
Yeah, basically we decided that if there was someone in the building, we would just get out as quickly as possible.
Okay, I thought you go, I'm a journalist.
Well, that's the thing. It kind of depends on their attitude, right? Like if they seem chill, then we talk to them for, hey, what are you doing, bud? What's going on in here? Well, but if they seem to act, aggressive and agitated, then we leave.
I think aggressive and agitated would be the most likely response to breaking into their meth laboratory.
Yeah, we just show up.
It's crazy, dude.
Yeah. So now we're exiting the vehicle here and making our way. So there were 2 different points of entry, right? So I'm about to hop the fence to get in, and Gary's going around the back to go in this secret back entrance that we found. Now, as Gary's walking up, that building that you see on the camera, that's the mosque. So it's literally right behind this thing.
Okay.
And there's the secret entrance in the back of the fence. And there was also a chair at this entrance. So basically like a lookout chair right next to the secret entrance.
Okay. But yeah, nobody was staking it out except you guys that night, huh?
No. We didn't see anyone else that
what time
we
of
thought
night
might
was
be doing that. This is, I want to say this was like at 2:30 in the morning. 3 o'clock in the morning, maybe.
Yeah, it's good strategy if you're gonna break into a house.
Yeah, I mean, we kind of had a
I
plan.
believe you guys did this shit, dude.
Yeah, so that's checking one door, and it was locked. But now Gary, he goes up these stairs, and you'll see he discovers that this upstairs entry was actually open. So we didn't have to break in.
Yeah, you just walked. So it's not literally a break-in. You just walked in.
It's trespassing.
You were invited into the house.
Yeah, someone said, "Hey, you're cool to go in." Exactly, dude.
Yeah, I'm glad you're alive, bro. I'm glad you're alive. My concern is like, again, if the city is connected to this, if this is a bigger thing,
Right.
They could easily try because that guy who owns or claimed to own the building is claiming you stole $100,000 from the house.
Yeah, dude. There was not $100,000 worth of anything. Well, no, there wasn't $100,000 worth of anything in there.
So yeah, I mean, like if this is connected to the city and this corruption runs deep into the city and the police and the mayor, etc.
Yeah,
you're fucked because they can just railroad you and say you stole $100,000. I mean, if the dude,
I guess they could.
Claims that you stole $100,000, how can you prove you didn't?
I mean, we've got the video footage.
Every second. No,
I haven't bought any new cars. You know, we're still so. I mean, they'd have a tough time proving. First of all, they'd have to prove there was $100,000 there, wouldn't they? Isn't the burden of proof on them, like innocent until proven guilty or whatever?
No, I mean, look at what they did to the cop with George Floyd.
Yeah,
Didn't matter
about that.
All the drug tests coming back showing he was on lethal amounts of. None of that mattered. They were just like, we're gonna arrest you and we get a jury that's definitely gonna convict you, and that's that.
Hey, dude, I don't know if you're trying to make me feel bad or what.
No, it's just like once you set this precedent, like every documentary, you have to like break the law and commit a crime. Now everybody's gonna be like, oh, this is boring. He didn't even break the law. He didn't even break into a house. Like this is what they're gonna expect in every documentary now.
Yeah.
This is why people bring me along for shit like this, because I'd be like, you guys are fucking retarded. What are you doing? Fuck? But hey, look, it made a great finale for the ending.
It really did, dude.
Watch you. I won't interrupt too much more.
Light.
See, at this point, like,
yeah, it was sketchy walking in here, dude.
Yeah, this looks like a fucking crack house, right?
It looks like it definitely did, dude. But here's the thing: you can't really see it on the camera, but there were respirators, like respirator masks, like the professional kind.
Yeah,
at least 3 or 4 of them in this building.
What would that be for?
You'll see, dude.
Oh, keep
cooking watching.
Yeah, that's right. I
for
forgot.
Cooking meth.
Remember Breaking Bad? It's like, oh, that's right. Yeah. Somebody, just a heads up in the chat. Somebody said the Discord link's not working. I think that's the one Andy is sharing. Andy might have an old one, but if you go into the description, the Discord link should work in the description if you want to join the Discord. Also, smash the thumbs up. Help this get out there because YouTube fucking hates me.
And send Pink Trip super chats too.
Yeah,
give him money, dude.
Channel. Links are in the description. Thanks, guys.
He's getting exclusive stuff here.
Yep. I hear the breathing. You guys are definitely fucking. That adrenaline's going, huh?
The adrenaline is pumping at this point, dude, because every door you walk through, you're like, is there going to be someone just sprawled out or waiting for us?
And you know, if it's really an illegal operation.
Here we go. There's the chains, dude. Right there.
Yeah, I missed this last time.
What?
Yeah.
What do you think
Isn't
that's
that
for?
Weird? I have no idea. I truly have no idea.
It seems kind of horror movie murderer type shit.
That's, I mean, we were thinking potentially you could restrain someone there. I mean, it could have been, who knows if it was for, pleasure. I don't know.
Yeah, I
don't know.
This again, like, all right, we'll let it play because I don't want to spoil it too much. That's creepy as fuck.
Right here, dude, is the outlaw sign.
Right there.
So you can barely see it, but it says outlaw shit.
Yeah.
Which is a biker club.
Come here.
So is it possible that the bikers are working with the Islam community to
Yes, it is
sell
possible.
meth. Maybe they're being funded by just speculating. Maybe they're being funded by like Hezbollah or some terrorist group to actually fund this and then funnel money back into
The Middle East, potentially.
back into their little terrorist shit.
Interesting you mentioned that, Ping Trip.
Okay, we'll play it.
Keep playing it.
I mean, we've given away that you find meth, right? We've already given that away.
Yeah, that is given away.
So that's got to be part of the meth stuff, right?
This is interesting because when I first saw these, I was like, oh, they're cooking dabs. They're like this is a dab setup, right? Like, so potentially like a grow operation, and then they're, distilling the marijuana down into dab, because that's a classic dab jar right there.
Okay.
So that was my first thought until we got into the basement. Well, realistically, the first floor of the building.
Yeah, there's no doubt once you get into the basement.
Yeah, that's where it kind of all comes together, and you're like, oh,
this is one of those. This is one of those buildings where, like, you try to walk quietly, but it's just impossible to do, right?
Dude, everything creaked, bro. There was no sneaking around in this place. No. But look at that kitchen. That's weird, right? Like, it's just eerie.
Yeah, I mean, it just looks like it's just a bunch of people that come in and out and like use it as their, you know what I mean? It's like they don't have any care for the living conditions because it's just a safe house for.
It's a crash house, dude. Yeah, it's a bando. Classic trap house, dude.
And here's if you were going to die, this is probably where it would have happened.
This would have been it, dude. Yeah.
Right. As you go down the stairs, and it's doom, doom, doom. Whoever's down there got the shotgun ready, dude.
Just ready and waiting to blow us away, dude. Yeah.
Gary, what's up, brother? How you doing?
Hey.
Hey. Yeah, we're just watching the.
Oh, you're wearing sun. I'm gonna take mine.
No,
off.
I'm taking mine off, dude. You keep copying
dude.
me.
So yeah, we got Gary, the legendary Street Gonzo. Welcome, brother. Yeah, we're just reacting.
Can you guys hear me pretty good?
Yeah. Sounds good on my end. It's good, bro.
It worked.
Yeah, nothing.
I'm a master of technology. Hire me to make your documentary. It'll come out a week late.
So yeah, we're reacting to me, which is one of the craziest decisions I've ever seen in my life, which is y'all's decision to break into this jihadi house. And this is when you guys discover what's down at the bottom.
Yeah, it's perfect timing on your part, Gary. You nailed it.
Yeah. Speaking
Here
of
it is, dude.
So this is the meth lab, right?
This is it.
So you guys, I don't know shit. I've never seen a meth lab. I mean, I've watched Breaking Bad, but I don't know. So for 100%, this is a meth lab. Maybe it's being construed as something else, or
I mean, you could argue
a bomb making factory.
Someone said it was ammunition reloader, which I've used an ammunition reloader. That is not what this is. Actually, play it and pause it when Gary gets it with the phone. He'll zoom out. Yeah, right there, dude.
What is that thing? Like a distiller or something?
Yeah, that's the cooker as far as we can tell.
Okay.
Yeah, so I actually talked to a couple of my buddies. I have a little bit of personal experience with this kind of thing, allegedly, and then I've got some friends that actually like cooked professionally, and they were like, "Yeah, dude, that's obviously a lab."
Professionally, you can be a professional meth cooker, huh?
Yeah, dude. Of course, it's a classic profession.
I wish we could see what was written on that bottle, man.
Yeah, you know what?
I have a picture somewhere of this.
Yeah, Gary might be able to actually give us some more insight on that. But yeah, the lighting, you can't.
I feel like if I pause it at the right time, I can get it. But it's like because it like focuses in on it for a split second where you can
see if you can tell from your phone, Gary. Right? Yeah.
Hold on, guys.
Well, that's about as clear as it gets. Here's what you're not seeing in this video, Ping, is I kept going. So Gary focused on the lab equipment, which was the right call for sure. I kept going because there was a door that led out into like a large, like almost like living room setup. And there was just more furniture, a bicycle, and it kept going even further back. But after I saw the meth lab, dude, I was like, I think we need to get out of here, actually. And we'd also established a plan that we were only going to spend maximum 5 minutes inside this place once we got in. And at this point, Gary, we've been in there for like 9 minutes or something like that.
And you got the money
man.
shot. This
Time
is the money
flies
shot.
when you're having fun, you know.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, it is fun. It is fun breaking the law. Actually, it's not YouTube. I'm sorry for saying that. So, dude, like this is a shot. Like if I got this shot and I'm like, okay, this is it. This is what's going on here. We're done. We're out of here at that point, right? Like, what else do you need? You're just the longer you're there, the more risk of somebody showing up with a shotgun, dude.
Oh yeah, you'll hear me say on the video, I literally go, "Let's get the fuck out of here."
Yeah, which is funny because
Let's go.
Go ahead, Gary.
it's right before that he says, "Let's get the hell out of here." And I don't remember if the audio made it into the cut, but I was like, "Whoa, hold on a second here. Look into this." And I was trying to get us to go back, and then I almost did. Well, we did kind of go back, but I mean, I wanted to go back in there and
get some meth, take some meth home,
more or less. But instead of taking a shit in the field, which that didn't make it into the cut though.
Yeah, I told him about that you had to shit on the side of the road right before we were dancing in the car.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys got some balls, man. But like I told Davey earlier, like I'm glad you guys are alive. I'm glad you guys survived this because this is sketchy, man. You know, I mean, did you guys have a good idea there was going to be nobody there?
No.
Yeah. See, that's the risky part. You didn't knock it first, right? You just kind of walked in.
Well,
housekeeping.
Well, we actually staked it out for about 6 hours on 2 separate occasions. So we were looking to see if people were going in or out, and we did our due diligence. But what was funny about that was we did see a bunch of strange shit in that neighborhood. Primarily, what I think was most likely the neighborhood coke dealer, because we would see cars pull up to a house, run in, run back out and leave. And then we saw the same car do that within like a period of 2 hours, which I've done that many times buying cocaine. So I don't think it was somebody selling weed, because they wouldn't be coming back 2 hours later fiending. And then there were some other peculiar things, but I think we might've been a little just paranoid. But after the fact, we went in there, we told Joel we were going to take 2 to 5 minutes or something like that. And then we were in there for probably like 10. And the funniest part was that the rule we made was that we had some safety protocol that if we weren't out in 5 minutes, he was going to like do something, and he just didn't do it. He was just like, yeah, they're dead.
Yeah, I'm going home, man, back to Texas. Yes, so there's a little feedback from them. David, do you hear the feedback?
No, I don't hear anything.
No, if you hear the buzzing, Gary?
No, I don't hear anything. I just wanted to make sure this wasn't echoing because I don't have headphones.
No,
in.
it sounds like when you get like a plug. It's actually gone now. So.
Okay. I'm gonna grab headphones anyways.
Go for it, bud.
So here's the working theory, Ping. Let me just kind of break this down for you, right? So, like I told you, there's a mosque directly behind the safe house, and then there's this motorcycle clubhouse right down the road, and then the neighborhood drug dealer also. After talking to some of the locals, my best working theory on this is that you've got a joint operation between a biker gang and Arab organized crime. I think the bikers are cooking it, and I think the Arabs are distributing it. And I don't think that's very far out of the realm of possibility, especially when you know that I think there was just a couple months before we got to Dearborn, I want to say, there was a sting operation, and they found an Arab organized crime gang had stolen, what was it, Gary, like $40 million worth of cars, and they were shipping them to the Middle East. So
I don't remember how many dollars, what the monetary value of it was, but I do remember that it was 40 plus cars, wasn't it?
No. It was 40 million. It was $40 million worth of cars that they had stolen and shipped to the Middle East.
So look, that could be very well what's going on here. You know, allegedly, like they're working with the bikers, selling meth, and then sending that money back to whatever little calls back home they care about, and that would be like 101 for a lot of these immigrant communities. Exactly.
Well, it's exactly what's going on in Minnesota with the Somalis, dude.
Yeah, a lot of money's going
back
to Somalia. Yeah. Crazy, man. I'm glad you guys fucking survived, though, dude. I don't know,
I wasn't
Gary.
even worried about it, dude. You know, it's funny, man. When we were at the bar, we were talking to this lady, and you know, she's your classic. I'm a bartender, and I'm gonna become a lawyer, just like every other bartender and waitress and stripper that I've ever met.
Mhm.
And she, so you know, she was a nice lady, but take it with a grain of salt. She did say though that in the prisons over there and in those neighborhoods, there is somewhat of an Arab-Aryan alliance in regards to organized crime, like what Davey was saying. So we didn't just come up with that out of thin air, but it's also maybe not got the foundational structure to really say this is a conspiracy. But I mean, there's definitely somebody cooking up meth, if that is indeed a meth lab. I've actually, believe it or not, never cooked my own meth. I've cooked crack, and I did one time allegedly experience a pill press, but never meth.
So yeah, Davey, I think that's your mic, bro.
It's my mic doing the warm hum.
Yeah, you hear the humming, Gary?
No, but I'm also pretty much deaf.
Huh. Yeah, it went away there. I don't know. Probably maybe a connection.
Weird, man.
Yeah, it went away. Go ahead, Gary. Sorry.
No, I just I've never actually cooked meth.
You never cooked meth? Yeah, well, that's good.
That's all I had to say. I just want everybody to know that the rumors aren't true.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm glad to hear that, Gary. I'm glad to hear it.
Yeah.
So Davey, there's going to be a part 2. You guys, what's going to be in part 2? You guys don't know yet, or?
Yeah, we'll see what happens with part 2. Ping. That's still kind of in a work in progress potentially, but at the very least, Gary and I are going to do a follow-up kind of sit-down retrospective, if you will, and kind of explain what we saw, what we experienced, not having to worry about any kind of spoilers, and also, you know, what we didn't really do in this documentary was give our insight, right? We didn't do it was just, here's what we experienced, here's the information. And so that's kind of going to be the next part 2, if you will, to kind of, I guess, condense a lot of that down into, you know, hey, how does this fit in with everything else that we've been seeing? You know, like the National Guardsmen that were attacked, the attacks that happened overseas, Iran being overthrown right now. How does this all fit into the zeitgeist?
Dude, you know what's crazy? On the way over here, so for the record, I just landed in Vegas. That's why I'm late. I'm covering this tech conference over here, and I was I'm late to everything. All right, I don't really have much of an excuse, but my Uber driver was from Venezuela, and I was like, "Hey, so what do you think about Maduro and Trump?" And she said she loves Trump and she's glad Maduro's out. And I had a journalism partner in college that said she's not the biggest Trump fan, but she is happy that Maduro's out of power. So, and this lady who I was speaking with in the car, and as with my other friend as well, they both said that pretty much everybody that they personally knew agree that Maduro had to go. I mean, I feel like not anybody in the zeitgeist, so to speak, in America, like mainstream news, I don't trust anything they say, but in the social media zeitgeist, I don't feel like anybody that's talking about this shit actually has any idea what they're talking about.
I think it breaks down very similar, like, to here, right? So in America, we got the left, the commies on the left, who are protesting over Maduro being captured or kidnapped. And you got the same thing in Venezuela. You got the leftist commies who are going to be angry about it. And then you got the people who hate communism, who most of them have fled Venezuela and are here in America. So you have the same divide. You have the left-right divide in Venezuela, just like you have here, you know?
Dude, I heard someone say about Venezuela that has been the singular largest refugee crisis in history, where it's like something like 5 or 6 million Venezuelans just left because I mean, it was so oppressive over there. So I mean, it's the way all of this works together is really interesting, and a lot of the people that first immigrated to Dearborn were also being oppressed.
Yeah.
They were victims when they came to the United States. And what's really interesting, I did kind of a deep dive on just the history of the religion. And I went and I found an old picture from the 1940s in Dearborn, and it was a group of Muslim women. Not a single one of them were wearing hijabs.
Yeah.
In fact, they were all wearing traditional American garb. I mean, like poofy dresses and shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that also goes to along with that, the call to prayer being happening multiple times a day, every day. That's also only been happening over the past 2 years. So pretty much, Dearborn's always had Muslims since for forever. And part of that's because there's a conspiracy about Henry Ford hating Jews and black people, and he didn't want them to work for him. And he was an anti-Semite, so he wanted Muslims to work for him because he thought they were cleaner and harder workers because they didn't drink alcohol, and a number of other things. But it seems that more recently, with the influx of refugees, that some of these people, like Davey's theory, is that they're not assimilating properly. So they are bringing some of the customs of the old world, so to speak, into this this town in America, an American city. And all the Christians basically have, they're either kind of weird or have no balls. So they don't really, they're not able to hit the vein and get their point across. And the people that do end up being these fucking sort of agitators like Jake Lang. And, then you got accusations of agent provocateur with him. And the problem therein lies that if the only person that's really standing up for the people that are allegedly not getting heard is somebody like Jake Lang, then you're not, I don't think his interests represent the same ones of Dearborn. So you're not really getting their words across, which is why what we're doing is important, because we're trying to say, hey, this is what's going on with all these people. And, just get their voice out there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and it's perfect because they can point to Jake Lang and go, see, these are just all these people complaining. They're just Islamophobes. They're just racists, which is always the comeback when it's like, we kind of feel like this is an American city and we'd like it to remain having an American culture and not feel like some Middle East city, they'll always point to somebody like Jake Lang and use him as an example as to like, all this criticism is coming from these white supremacist, racist, neo-Nazi Islamophobes,
Yeah. No, you're correct. And also, the people that are perpetrating the division, whether it be via racism or Islamophobia or whatever other bullshit people want to throw out there, I don't know if it's really that effective anymore because nobody really believes that any of those words have meaning. Dude, look at Instagram. Half the clips on Instagram are people like being like, "Yeah, I'm a Nazi now." It's out of control. They've diluted these words to the point where it means nothing.
But it still means something to the people still in that echo chamber. So when they say that, it's really more of like a dog whistle to the fellow leftists, not to because the right's like, whatever, fuck it, I'm a racist. I don't give a fuck anymore. Call me what you want. But the left are like, oh, he's a racist. So like that kind of puts it to where the left will never actually give you a chance and listen to you because they can just disregard you. So it's kind of protecting their own little bubble in a way.
Sure. But Dearborn, I believe, a decent amount of those folks up there voted for Trump, and Islam is an extremely conservative religion. So who are they dog whistling? Liberal white women to sacrifice themselves at the altar of Allah to usher in more hijabs and burqas? Dude, look at this Leslie Herrick bitch. She's like one of the dumbest people I think I've ever interviewed. Davey interviewed her rather, but when Davey interviewed her, she said, this is a place that I think America should look like. And it is an example of what America should look like. A place where the mayor is telling pastors that they're going to throw parades when they leave town. What? It's crazy to me that it's just Karens. Karens are ruining the country.
Oh, fuck yes.
The Muslims are actually, I kind of liked them. I'm not going to lie. They'd make Herrick put a burqa on, and she needs to shut the fuck up. So, that's my take.
For me, it's like, would I rather live next to some San Francisco hippie lib Or would I rather live next to some like religious Muslim? I would rather live next to a Muslim than a fucking hippie lib. Than a fucking, a Rachel man. I'd rather have those meth head cooking motherfuckers living next door to me than Rachel Maddow.
Well, that's a no-brainer, though. they're cooking crystal meth. I love meth, but the thing about it is that these fucking Karens we should ship them all to Somalia, actually.
I agree.
Somaliland even. Somaliland would be a perfect place for them, dude.
You sound like Netanyahu, dude.
Hey, whoa, easy, dude. Easy.
That's
not. You know what the other interesting thing, Pink? Like the feedback that I've gotten personally in private from this documentary coming out, I've heard from like 3 or 4 different people that are like, hey, I live in Dearborn. This documentary paints a perfect picture of what is going on in our city. But those same people aren't willing to comment on the actual videos. They're not willing to speak publicly about that because they are living in fear.
Well, they're also pussies.
That's what I was about to say. The opposition in Dearborn is pussified. 100%.
A lot of these people have a fear of being labeled. So we say like the racist labels don't matter, but they still do to a certain degree, because a lot of people still want to avoid that label, because if you're living in corporate America and you're labeled a racist Islamophobe, probably in a place like Dearborn, it's probably even worse to be labeled an Islamophobe.
Well, but you know what? There's a flip side of that coin too, Payne, because I heard from a guy that is very well connected in Dearborn, and I can't, I have to keep him anonymous. But his comment to me was, they say there's no Sharia law, but the reason a lot of the Muslims wouldn't talk to you is fear of reciprocity from the mosques,
from their own community, right?
Yes,
makes sense. Yeah.
You know, so it's a very weird dynamic that they've got going on in this city.
Yeah, the interview you had at the mosque was pretty interesting, to be honest.
Yeah, I like that guy.
Yeah. I think we do have a lot in common with Muslims. It's just like, I mean, we have a lot.
What do you mean? Who you mean? Christians. You mean Christians? Okay.
Yeah, Christians do, like, because look, there is a point where it's like, would I rather live next to somebody who at least believes in a God, in a higher purpose, or some fucking atheist who just has no belief in anything except me, myself, and I, you know? But there is a problem with them assimilating to Western culture, right? I wish they would be more willing to assimilate to American culture and maybe drop some of the sides that don't really assimilate with Muslim culture that well, like the hijab and et cetera, you know?
Well, the real problem is the Muslim Brotherhood.
Say again?
What are you going to say, Gary? Are you going to talk about how hot you like the...
Yeah. I was going to say, keep the part where, you know, they tell the women to kind of pipe down. Yeah. And also they stay in shape. The Muslim women were very beautiful, mainly because I could only see their eyes, but they leave a lot to imagine. And I've watched a lot of pornography, so I could sort of piece together my favorite women and create an object.
It's a hack, bro. It's a hack, because in 2020,
I'm telling you, dude,
chicks were wearing masks, like chicks that would normally be ugly, when all you can see is their eyes, all of a sudden there's something alluring about that. You know?
Also, man, I'm going to be honest. I mean, because I always sort of thought, man, Muslims they're a little scary, you know? But they were extremely friendly. Maybe they were doing tzatziki on me or whatever, to kill you or whatever. But I don't know, man. They were very welcoming. They make good food. The women were very polite. The men acted like men, and they had, you know, they walked and spoke with bravado. It honestly, Islam kind of reminds me of old school Christianity. And I'm not saying I'm going to convert to Islam or anything necessarily anytime soon, but I do think that Christians should take a page out of the Muslims' book. And I also do think that, to a degree, the Muslims, these people that come over here, their kids will be, to a degree, no matter what happens, they will be
more Americanized.
Conditioned and Americanized, because nothing is more powerful than the almighty dollar. We worship capital in this country. They will become American consumer drones and buy meta glasses and go start a YouTube channel of their own, investigating Christian city of white people and breaking into a church. They're going to do what we're doing right now, and we're going to be like, man, these fucking kids these days, we're going to be like 60 years old. I'm going to be complaining. I'm going to be telling Davey he's blowing it because the whole time we were there, he pretty much blew it, which I'm sure he didn't tell you about that part. He was fucking blowing it. He blew it with the mayor. He blew it with Rashida Tlaib. And then he nailed it at the city council, though. He did do that.
Dude, every time you say I was blowing it, dude, you were literally itching the skin off your body because you had...
Oh,
you
because
thought you had bed
the
bugs,
worst La Quinta of all time,
dude,
and I
Gary
got bed
was
bugs.
in a psychosis.
And dude, on
time.
top of that, I had fucking like walking pneumonia, and I'm like, hey man, I don't feel too good, and you're like, yo, you gave me this whole speech about fucking being a pussy, and I got to do it, and I was like, yeah, you're kind of right.
Yeah, you were blowing it, dude.
That mayor seems sus as fuck, but I think one thing that's alluring about Muslim culture from our perspective is it hasn't been polluted with like this woke political correctness, women are God and never wrong about anything bullshit that our culture has been polluted with. So we see that and it's kind of like, that's kind of nice. It's kind of nice that men are in charge.
Breath of fresh air, man. The Muslims are like, hey, they say it with their chest and they say, hey, I don't really like you, and I respect that, dude. Some of them, and then some of them, I think actually are they're really not that much different than you or I, or maybe a little bit different than Davey, given the homosexuality. But
that part,
I think that there's a lot of common ground.
Yeah,
and the news is dividing us.
That is a hell of a thing for you to say, Gary, as a gay man. It's just insane that you would say that to me.
You guys keep fighting. This is good.
How dare you?
Dude, show us the man that's in your room with you right now. Show us the small Filipino man that you bought as soon as you landed in Vegas.
First of all,
it sounds like he's got you.
You're really putting me on the spot here.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, fake a coughing fit. Yeah, that's perfect.
I gotta go.
You killed him. I'll read this.
Anyways,
I've pretty much had pneumonia since we left for that trip. And Davey's been working me like a dog. I'm not making barely any money. So go sign up for my Patreon, patreon.com/StreetGonzo.
Yeah.
So I can go buy some Dayquil. No, I'm doing good, man. Things are going great, dude.
Yeah, he looks like Jesus, but he's really the devil. That's what's going on here.
Hey, Ping, do you know the story of Faust? Just to totally derail the entire thing.
Oh God, he had 2 sips of Bud Light, and all of a sudden, dude.
Yeah. Hey, by the way, I actually fuck Bud Light, but
Yeah, you're trans now, dude. What are you doing?
Yeah. Well, I don't even think they're an American company anymore. But I just want some cheap beer. But the story of Faust, it's an old German folktale about allegedly the first guy to ever sell his soul to the devil. It's based on this dude, Johann George Faust from Bavaria. And I'm actually related to that guy. So that's pretty cool.
Well, it's all making sense now, Gary.
Yeah. So I just wanted to say astute observation. And I think that you're a very observant young man. And maybe you could join us sometime for some sort of Gonzo excursion. And Davey won't be there because we'll probably get bed bugs if he is.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I'm a fan of your work, dude. I can tell you're definitely inspired by Hunter Thompson, right?
Well, I would say I'm more so inspired by John McAfee and Jim Morrison. Hunter Thompson was an inspiration later in my life in college because the fucking all the journalism teachers kept saying, you just want to be like Hunter Thompson. And I was like, at the time, I think I'd only maybe read one of his books, The Curse of Lano, which I actually really liked. But they kept telling me that. And which encouraged me to go to look into him. And then I was like, oh, this guy he broke all the rules, which is cool. You got to break the rules. I've told people this all the time. I've told Davey this, and clearly he took my advice because I'm a genius. To be a good journalist, you essentially have to be a criminal at heart, innately. Because if you're actually doing real journalism, which is generally exposing corruption or watchdogging these dog shit politicians that steal all of our money, you're not going to be doing that legally because legally they cover it all up. So you got to break the law. And Davey, I told him that, and he's like, all right. And so we broke into a meth lab, and that's the kind of shit that more people need to be doing all the time. Breaking into abandoned buildings, yelling at city council members, doing crystal meth, all that kind of stuff.
Just make sure you have
really.
underwear.
Yeah,
Make sure
dude,
you
I had
know.
to drag Gary into that building the entire time. I was like, hey man, hey, I don't want to catch a charge. Hey man. Yeah, dude, you're such a fraud. You're just like Jake Lang, dude. You're
That's a hell
just
of a
like
thing.
him.
Are you gonna fight that guy? I know you were talking about it the other day.
I'm gonna, dude, if he will actually man up and meet me somewhere, I will beat the brakes off that dude.
Jake
All right,
Lang,
hey,
what are you
how
waiting
about-
for, bro?
How about this? How about this? We will start a movement. Excuse me. We'll start a movement to get Jake Lang to fight you, and you need to cut like a wrestling style promo right now to camera, calling him out. Make it like 30 seconds. I'll clip it up. I'll send it to a bunch of people.
Oh, there we go. I like that. Yeah, dude.
Go ahead,
No love lost with Jake Lang, man. So I mean, as far as the Muslim thing, dude, like I don't agree with Gary on a lot of that stuff.
Wait, hold on.
you know?
Do the call him
Yeah,
out.
Wrestling promo.
Yeah.
Oh, right now?
Yes. Come on, dude.
Oh, okay. Oh, I thought you meant like separate. Oh, yeah.
No,
hey,
right now,
Jake
dude.
Lang. Hey, everyone shut up for a second so I can do this, all right? God. Hey, Jake Lang, you're a fake, you're a fraud, you're a pussy, and I bet you won't meet me in the street and catch these all-American hands. Everyone knows you're a pussy, dude. That's it. That's it for now.
That was incredible.
I was hoping for more, bro. I was hoping you'd keep going, dude.
Oh,
Yeah.
I mean, you want me to keep going?
Yeah, keep going.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, come on, you're
Dude,
cooking.
All right, let's go.
You made the
let's go.
decision to be a professional clown for a living. This is your time to shine, dude. Go for it.
All right, here we go. All right, part 2. Yeah, Jake Lang, you've got a weird face and a weird head, dude. No one likes your haircut. You think you're cool putting a Quran inside a pig's mouth? Look, if that's the best you got, dude, then you really are a lot denser than I gave you credit for. You are the epitome of what happens when your mother has sexual relations with an actual monkey, dude. You love talking about chimping out. You're literally half chimp, dude. Actual primate, bro. So why don't you shut up and put your fists where my mouth is? No, that's wrong. Don't put your fit. Well, actually, yeah.
I got this.
Why
I
don't
got
you?
this. All right. Jake Lang, you just hate Muslims because you're jealous that they get to fuck goats. This is a call out for you to fight Davey Jackson on January 23rd in Dallas, Texas. There we go.
January 23rd. All right.
Dave, have you been practicing MMA, dude? Do you have some skill, some fighting
Dude,
skill?
I don't need to practice for Jake Lang.
What if he
Look at
goes
him, dude.
jujitsu, dude? What if he's like
he has
he's been
zero
training-
hand-eye coordination.
He was
He
in
let a
prison.
16-year-old Muslim kid slap him in the face. He couldn't. He's trying to do the bacon on the Quran thing. He couldn't even hold on to it. They snatched it away from him.
Look, man, I actually have no problem with this guy. I don't even really know who he is. But I will absolutely say that based on watching that video of him, there's no way he's going to win a fight against Davey. Davey used to fight Mexicans outside of bars and shit. He's insane.
Is that true?
I wouldn't even fight Davey, and I don't really lose fights because I can take a beating. You know what I mean? I don't stay down.
Yeah, you can really pound the hell out of Gary, and he'll just keep going, dude. It's crazy.
See, the thing with fighting though is like you can
Hell of
be
a thing for you to say to me.
like in the 90s, you could have been like an ass kicker and like got into all kinds of brawls and won a bunch of them.
Yeah.
But in today's modern day, you run into one guy with a little bit of MMA training who's like done some jujitsu classes, you're totally fucked.
Yeah, you
And it
got to
doesn't
shoot
matter.
him.
Well, yeah, I mean, you
It was different when all the kids were doing taekwondo and just learning finger locks and shit. Yeah, it's a different animal now, dude.
this is true.
Yeah, I used to watch my cousin do taekwondo, and I was like, "This kid's gonna get this shit beat out of him. He's screwed." Dude, one time when I was on Rainy Street in Austin, Texas. Have you been there, dude?
I saw your documentary back in the day, The Rainy Street Ripper.
Oh shit! Hey boys, I gotta go.
All right,
I
get out
love
of here,
y'all.
David. Thank you, brother.
Gary,
Thanks for joining up.
you're incredibly gay, but I still love you, dude, and I'm gonna support your lifestyle choices. Okay, I want you to know that. All right, we're good.
Shut the fuck up.
All right, later, y'all.
I think we need to get you guys in the fucking cage, bro. You and Davey.
No. I don't think I can beat Davey in a fight, unfortunately.
I always want to fight Davey. I don't know what it is.
I think a lot of people do.
I've challenged him a few times. I'm like, I don't care, Davey. I don't care how much bigger you are than me. We're gonna fucking fight, bro. So yeah, I remember watching your. This is when I think you were working with Drinking Bros, right, back then.
Yeah. About a year and a half ago, roughly.
Some of your, I remember the rainy. What was this? Or was it the Lady Bird Killer, the Austin,
the Rainy Street Ripper? But I have my reservations about that being real. I mean, it's funny, man. That story, there's always been sort of a rumor. It's been in the rumor mill for a long time that there was a serial killer in Austin that was drugging people, and it was always this rumor that it was gay guys. And then I used to work at a radio show called Come and Talk It. And we did a show, and the host, Michael Cargill, that's who I produced for, he said, he's like, there's a serial killer in Austin. And it basically broke the story. And then maybe like a week later, there was this giant Facebook group blew up. It was all over the news. Yeah. And he sort of inadvertently made it into this massive conspiracy. And that's why I've always been interested in it. Do I think there's a serial killer? Not necessarily, but I do sort of think that some of those people were murdered.
Yeah, I mean,
to be honest, there's a big drugging problem in Austin. I've been drugged twice in Austin, actually.
What, like in your drink?
Yeah.
So that's crazy. So basically, crimes of opportunity where like, hey, these people are going to be fucked up. We can rob them and just. It's an easy crime to get away with, right?
Yeah, it's either that or it is potentially like a homeless person. Like there's drunk people out there that inadvertently got drugged at a bar, because there's a lot of people in town, bartenders included, that think it's funny to drug people. And bartenders, bar owners, trust me, it's fucked up. And I think sometimes people get inadvertently drugged, or they maybe somebody's like, you want some drugs? And they don't know what it is, and they drug themselves. And then they're over by the lake, and there's homeless people that live in that wooded area by Lady Bird Lake or Town Lake, whichever you call it. And they have like little huts built in there. I don't know did you see that? I don't remember if we really showed how intricate it was, but I mean, I've been back in all those homeless camps. The homeless situation was the first thing I ever covered when I started doing this.
Yeah, it made me stop going to Austin, because I used to work in telecom, like doing sell side work, and they'd send me to Austin all the time. And it just got to the point where it's like, because of my work and the areas I had to go into and like the shit I saw, it's like, I don't even want to go to Austin anymore, bro. I definitely don't want to fucking go to 6th Street, dude.
It's a bummer that the city council sort of created these laws to import homeless people to more or less collect more taxes for more projects that they are going to give out the contracts to their friends for.
Explain that, because I'm not aware of how that happened. I didn't even know they were doing that. Steve
Adler, when I was in J school at UT, I interviewed Steve Adler, the former mayor, and he was a real estate attorney. And just long story short, him and the city council were creating laws that were like the camping ordinance. They rescinded it, and they let homeless people camp all over the place, like on the sidewalks and all over the place. And that incentivized homeless people from all around the state of Texas to come to Austin. And then they do the homeless head count, and boom, there's way more homeless people, which means we need way more money for homeless people, which means we need to build another homeless shelter. And wait, what? The guy that builds the homeless shelter is friends with the real estate attorney that's also the mayor that created the law?
So it all becomes a grift.
Well, it's all of it is. Dude, you know what? Okay. A couple of years ago, probably the first really big interview I ever did was with a guy named John McAfee. Are you familiar?
Yeah, McAfee.
Very smart man. Insane, yes. Genius, yes. He walked the line on both sides. Also, his wife, Janice, is incredible. He told me that he thinks that homeless people should run the government because it would gridlock it. The whole entire thing is designed to, if there's a stalemate, it just nothing happens.
Yeah.
And I don't think homeless people would steal as much of our money as these people that are running the government now do. And
That's a problem.
I'm actually being serious. When he first told me that, this was probably 6 years ago, and I thought like I always loved McAfee, and I thought this guy's fucking crazy. And then now that I've been doing this for a while, I'm like, you know, and don't get me wrong, I thought he was crazy, but I liked it. You know what I mean? I was like, I like people that think outside the box. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, and a lot of times the most intelligent people like that actually have. I mean, like, I don't know how to put this, but sometimes the reality of something is more crazy than you would imagine. So when people actually point out some truth to you, you think they're crazy.
Yeah, and for sure, man. That's very well put. You nailed it. And after having done this for a few years, and I kind of think that he might have had a valid point.
Yeah, do you think
which is crazy
to
think that we could just? I mean, dude, you know what I should do? You know what? I'm putting this in my notes. I'm gonna find a homeless person and help them run for office.
I like that documentary. I'd watch that. What do you think happened with McAfee's death, man?
He didn't kill himself. No, 0% chance. Well, 0.1 because everything's possible, but he did not kill himself. The last time I ever talked to him, the last thing we actually talked about was I asked him if he would ever kill himself if he got caught because he was on the lam. We would do interviews from like a Faraday cage. Well, he was in a Faraday cage.
Yeah, I remember that phase. I remember that.
And he was doing interviews with everybody, dude. He was no matter, even if it was the smallest podcast ever, basically he had a tweet and he said, if you can pass my wife's sniff test, then I'll do a podcast with you. And for a billionaire who was on the lam and also running for office, who as a libertarian, who also had like allegedly killed a guy, which that's also I'm skeptical. For him to do that that's the exact kind of person that we do need in office. But nonetheless, the last thing he ever said to me was that he'd never kill himself. So I don't think he's dead.
Yeah, I agree. We need a fighter who's willing to go to any fucking lengths it takes, because I've talked about this many times on my show. Like, I think the biggest problem with this country and all the problems stem from that is literally corruption of government.
Oh yeah.
I think I mean, because we always talk about all these problems, but it all stems like at the top of that pyramid of problems is a corrupt government that will never serve the interests of the American people, who are just there to enrich themselves. And they've made it into like a perfect fucking scheme. Like, they're experts at like siphoning money from the taxpayers. Like, that's what they're good at. And
that's funny that you use that language in that example, because I believe that I mentioned this to you over text, but we did a documentary in Puerto Rico about the $2 billion that's been siphoned from Puerto Rican taxpayers to Wall Street via the Financial Oversight and Management Board that was created by Obama. And that is the exact language that I was using to describe that, because you're right. It's not stealing because it's legal.
No.
So it's not fraud, but it is siphoning or funneling.
No.
They've found loopholes to manipulate and abuse people who essentially are acting as wage slaves now. And that's unfortunately something that's going to basically occur in any economic system that's set up, whether it's communism, capitalism, or socialism. The only way that you really can avoid that is through like some sort of crypto anarchy, I guess. And even then, there's a lot of problems with that too. I don't have political answers though. I just
I think our founding fathers had a pretty good idea how to limit that. And it's like diversity of government, essentially. You don't want to centralize too much government. Like, the federal government's become this like behemoth that runs everything, and is like, it really wasn't supposed to be that way. Every state, every county was supposed to be like its own little government. And then you had competition between governments, right? So if you have one government that's shitty, you could go, well, it's obviously it was harder back then, but now you could be like, hey, I'm going to move to, like, say, California. It's corrupt. They're taxing the fuck out of everybody. People move to Texas. So like, you're kind of voting with where you decide to live, right? So that creates a competition of governments. Like, these local governments have to compete for citizens, for taxpayer dollars. But now that the federal government's basically in charge, the big dog, it's like you can't get away from it, you know? But you can, in a way, you can still move to like if you're in Texas, you're paying 0 income taxes. You're not getting as fucked as you are in California, you know?
Yeah, but then you have a city like San Marcos sending a bunch of money to Israel.
Yeah.
That's you can't. I don't think you really can escape it. To be quite frank,
I think you can, because if you have like enough fucking different districts, like in America, we have so many counties. If each county is basically its own government, there's bound to be a couple that are fucking legit. You know, just roll. I mean, probably be a small percentage.
Dude, everything in America is every dollar made in America, Washington gets a cut.
Yeah.
I think the founding fathers had it right, though. But I don't know if it was necessarily what you're saying. I think that what they got right was that they were extremely violent. And physical force is basically the only thing that moves the needle historically, unfortunately.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think we are at that point where we're not going to fix anything unless we do have a revolution style situation, but that's never going to happen. I mean, there's always, like, you're right, there's always going to be a level of corruption, but it's like, there's always going to be a level of fraud. There's always going to be those in power kind of enriching themselves. But it's like, to what degree, right? Because
you don't think that things will get so bad that it collapses?
Yeah, well, that might be when we have a revolution and violence kicks off. But it would be when people have no food and when people don't have Netflix and aren't sitting at home getting stoned, eating fucking Doritos, watching Netflix and playing video games. Like, people still have it too good to risk anything.
I think you're right. They keep us comfortable enough to not want to revolt. But you know, I keep telling people this about Puerto Rico. The Puerto Rican system down there is essentially a microcosm of the United States, right? Like, so they're using this financial board to funnel money to Wall Street. Same thing as our government using us to funnel money to Ukraine or Israel or whatever other foreign entity. And well, basically, I think that they're using Puerto Rico as sort of a testing grounds to see what they can get away with. And if they can get away with letting the power get really bad and people still don't fight back, and they can get away with funneling tax money off the island and people still don't fight back, and they can get away with the water not even being sanitary and people still don't fight back, then I think that there is going to be they're going to have enough of a litmus test that they've done to see what they can get away with on the mainland, and more or less push us exactly to the brink of where we're like, man, we should like, you know, I don't want to say it on camera, but you know, commit some acts that would be, some people would consider them acts of independence and other people would consider them acts of terrorism. But the point being,
we make our forefathers happy.
I think they've dialed it in. Well, the forefathers were terrorists.
Yeah.
For sure. They'd be labeled a terrorist group nowadays, for sure.
Yeah. He took that to modern day. Yeah, I mean, it's like somebody says here, end income tax, no taxation without representation.
Hell
like,
yeah.
I am for abolishing income tax at the federal level. Trump's always teasing he's going to do it, but I think it's one of those things where it's just popular to say it, but he's never ever going to actually do it.
Well, I don't know, man. He did release the Epstein files. Remember that when he did that? Not psych. Dude, it's bullshit. I would love it if they eliminated income tax. That shouldn't even exist. That's a bullshit law they passed back around the time they created the Federal Reserve, which, by the way, I don't know if you know this. I was just talking to somebody about this the other day. The Federal Reserve was essentially created because bankers paid newspapers to spread misinformation about small banks not having enough money to handle people's accounts. So people started withdrawing all their money, and then they were like, we got to create the Federal Reserve, and this will never happen. And then boom, 15 years later, or fucking Great Depression. It's all bullshit. This thing has been set up. We live in modern-day Babylon, and I really do think that the only real exit strategy for anyone, because the entire ecosystem across the entire globe was sort of sliced and diced many decades ago, and there's a plan for all of it. If you don't think the people that run the world have a plan for the Dominican Republic or for Venezuela or Puerto Rico or fucking Latvia or Spain or whatever, dude, these people have been pulling the strings and puppeteering everything for a very long time, and it's And also it's not the Jews. Everybody's always talking about the Jews, right? It's not just the Jews. There's Israel's part of it. The Freemasons are part of it. Illuminati's part of it. Royal family's part of it. Banking cartels are part of it. The Rockefellers, dude, Rockefeller created the nightmare that we're living in right now. Seriously, he was a criminal psycho. The guy, he was a large reason that raw milk got outlawed. He created the American education system, which brainwashes people into working this 9-to-5 bullshit and living sort of like institutionalizing us. Like, dude, we're semi-institutionalized before we're even in a real prison. You know what I mean? Like jobs and schools are essentially institutions that make you work within those the confines of the system that they create. And look, I'm not saying that that they're like all these things are horrible. You know, I love America, dude. There's many very good things about America, but it is sort of things are going in weird directions, and I don't like them. And it's probably been this way for a long time. Hunter Thompson talked about some of this, 9/11 being a big thing that he spoke on, and well, let's use 9/11 as an example. It was sort of a catalyst for a lot of things, Patriot Act, etc. We got in our generation, we got COVID. And we haven't really had free speech since COVID. If you really want to, you know, pull the thread on whether we're free or not, the thing that you can look to is speech. That really is it. And at least we at least have sort of the illusion that we can speak freely, I guess. But at least we still stand up for that. So there's positives and negatives.
I'm sussed out by the society we're in now because everything's controlled by algorithms, bro. Like our speech, you can say whatever you want, but behind the scenes, you have these algorithms that are manipulating what becomes a cultural thing and what just gets pushed to the side, right? So I'm sussed out. I think we definitely need to fucking have some sort of regulation. I mean, I'm not normally for regulations, but when it comes to regulations to promote freedom of speech and increase the level of freedom of speech, I think the algorithms are a big part of that, and having transparency and knowing exactly what they're up to with the algorithms. And is it because look, this is also a business, right? Like the speaking is a business, and like reaching people is a business, and like how are they deciding who gets the big voice, who gets the small voice, who gets shadow banned, who gets throttled, and who do I like right now? You're seeing Candace Owens is like the biggest voice in the world right now, and it's like that's so weird. Like it doesn't seem to be like.
Do you think it's a psychological operation?
I think it is, man. I think that they are using their algorithms to push us in the directions they want us to go.
You're probably right.
It's crowd psychology. You know how the crowds are, man. Crowds see like everybody moving in one way, they follow, and it's easy to manipulate that part of human psyche with the algorithms.
Yeah, I mean, I think you have a point to regulation of the algorithm because that is the modern public square, is all the social media platforms. Yeah. And if they are monopolizing free speech and language and the use of linguistics to influence people to push agendas, then yeah, that's pretty nefarious. And I would say that Sherman antitrust laws should be used to sort of break those up or split those up, which is one of the entire purposes of the federal government. So I agree with you in that regard. But I also think that it might be better if, like, do you remember what happened to Gaddafi?
Yeah, he got murdered by his own people.
Yeah.
You think that would be the
best
all
move? I got to say, you know? I don't want to elaborate too much. I don't want to be put on some sort of extremist list, even though I probably already am.
The problem with that is like we think we have it so bad, and then we do something like that, and we just get it even worse.
Well, yeah. Okay. So the issue with what I just said, and I'm being a little bit hyperbolic, of course. Yeah. But because I do love America, and I still do think we have it good here, and I don't want to see innocent people hurt because, the founders of the country are pretty fucking smart, and they talked about cleansing the country with the blood of tyrants, not the blood of innocent people. And I think that when shit like that happens, innocent people get hurt, which I'm completely staunchly against. Yeah. But I fucking tangentially rambled off and forgot my point I was even making, dude. Sorry.
Well, Let me read these super chats real quick. Nephilim Desquad with 5. They pay you salary to kill your dreams. There will never be a revolution when we still have fat homeless people. Yeah, that's the point a lot of people make is like we're not. We still. I mean, look, we're still the greatest country in the world. We still have the highest quality of living, even for poor people. It's going to be hard to get people on board with the revolution when it's not that bad, but it might get there soon. It might get there.
Yeah.
But, and then somebody said, Corn Pop. Thanks, Corn Pop, with the 5. Remember when Trump said we'd be able to file taxes on a 3x5 card? Well, thanks for reminding me. I do remember now. That's the thing about Trump, man. All politicians, they make all kinds of promises, and then at the end of the day, it's like, I mean, you almost know that they're just talking shit. Nothing's gonna ever happen.
Yeah, but dude, we got 50-year mortgages, man.
50-year. I heard he put like $200 billion into buying into some fucking fund that's going to lower the interest rates or something. I don't know.
Dude, Trump's first term, things I felt got better, and this go around,
not too much.
It's crazy, dude. I also will say that politicians will do things that are aligned with their agenda, whatever that may be. No. And I think being like, if you're in a position that you can make change to something, you basically need to pitch things to fit their agenda, right? So like, for example, in Puerto Rico, again, I'm obsessed with Puerto Rico right now.
Yeah, I've watched most of that documentary.
It's really long, dude.
75% of the way there. What really shocked me about that was the dude who's been 8 years without power.
Yeah, that's not too uncommon for the record.
Yeah, it's I don't know. The problem is like complaining about how bad things are. It's like, what's the solution? And I know you say like Gaddafi, that's the solution, but that's probably a solution at some point. But I feel like if we could get a president in there who's like for real about like waging war from within the government, like we could actually get a lot done. If only we could get, because that's what the hope was for Trump, right? Trump was going to be this outsider who was going to wage war with the corruption in government from within the government. Because who would be better positioned to wage war against this shit than the president of the United States, right?
Well,
so
maybe
hold out hope.
Somebody within one of the intelligence apparatus that actually runs the country. All those politicians are figureheads,
Well, yeah, but see, if a president wanted to wage war, he could wage war against those people, right?
Yeah, like if the people that control him,
he might get murdered. He might get murdered. But to me, like at the end of the day, the president needs to act. If we were to get a president to act like that, he needs to go in as a soldier willing to die for the cause.
Yeah, like John F. Kennedy, essentially, is what you're saying.
Yeah,
the last real. Well, that's a whole other thing. I was gonna say what at this junction in time within the country, when you have these politicians that are essentially just doing things that align with their agenda, and it's not all that cut and dry. I speak hyperbolically sometimes and with such conviction that I think anybody watching what I'm saying, they're like, this guy believes everything he's saying. He thinks he's right about everything. It's just how I talk, dude. I'm wrong about shit all the time when I'm on a podcast or a live stream. But my point is that when you can find out a way to get a solution to something, the easiest way to do it in the current paradigm that we're operating within in the United States politically is to align something with one of these politicians' agendas. And I think that, like I was going to use the example of the Puerto Rican power grid. If I can get that in front of some politicians and say, hey, here's why you should care about this. This is, A, B, and C. Can you help me do something about it? That's where we're at with things. So we're not totally in a crisis. Maybe we are, but we're not at the breaking point yet. Because things still are getting accomplished.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like,
I think the state. Again, we are a country, the United States, and I think certain states are way worse off than other states, right? Now, every state's got their problems, but if you look at a state like what's going on in Minnesota right now, like if you were president, would you declare, like you got Tim Walz saying literally he's going to activate the National Guard to protect against the federal government. Like we literally have like the beginning stages of what could be a civil war in Minnesota. If you were the president, what would you do about that? Because to me, I would have already fucking declared an insurrection act, and I'd be arresting Tim Walz and that the mayor Frey or whatever his name is.
Well,
because I mean, I'd go hardcore, bro. I'd go hardcore.
I'd have to go to Minnesota and talk to people and see what's really going on. First of all, I don't believe anything that I don't believe anything I see anymore. Yeah, I only believe what I experience myself. So is it really as bad as what they say it is? I'd have to go see it for myself, and then I could make an actual
there's
judgment.
Definitely been a bunch of convictions already. So like that, we know there's already been a bunch of fraud uncovered. And then the latest is these people showing up to daycares. Have you been following that?
Yeah, I watched Nick Shirley's video. I would like to see some follow-up to that for sure.
Well, the follow-up is people are showing up now and there's kids there. That's always, it's like 2 weeks later, all of a sudden another journalist shows up and now there's kids there and everything's fucking looks on the up and up. But it's very suspicious to me, man. So many of these daycares, like in Ohio, there's a ton of them. I mean, they would go to these medical buildings and it's like, dude, if you're running a business and somebody shows up and goes, hey, how can I use your services? And you just fucking kick them out and act like that's just it doesn't add up, right?
Well, dude, think about this. Look, so I get what you're saying. Like, if what you're saying is accurate and they're stealing federal dollars, then fuck them. Yeah, the state's not doing their job, and it's all fucked up, right? But if the people of Minnesota, I don't know all the intricate details of this, so this is all a hypothetical, theoretical situation. But if those Somalians are stealing their own Minnesota taxpayer dollars, and that's what Minnesotans voted for, then this is a democracy. It's a sort of a retarded, constitutional republic, but it's sort of a retarded form of government. You know, whoever gets the most votes. So it's a popularity contest? Like, what are we talking about here? The most people I know are fucking stupid, unfortunately, but they have potential. I think there's a degree. Everybody, I actually believe this, and maybe I'm delusional, but I do think that everybody has potential, but we're sort of, through media and through education, our brains are diluted to make sure that we're not reaching our full potential, because then you have a bunch of strong individuals, which is, again, what the country was basically founded on. My point, though, is that if the Minnesotans are voting for that, then they're getting what they want. If it's federal tax dollars, that's another
I think it's
problem.
a mix. It's a mix of federal and state. So I think the way it works, I've heard the Democrats talk about this, like, we're going to help struggling families pay for childcare, right? So, like, of course, that sounds great. Like, oh, dude, that's one of my biggest things. Like, my kids cost so much to put them in daycare. If only I could get some help. So they run on that. And then it ends up being, oh, we're going to send all these subsidies to these Somali daycares.
Now, that's where you lose me, because we're talking about people that we brought into the country and we're giving them money that my tax dollars are going toward. That doesn't make any sense at all. Why are we bringing in people that are a net negative?
Well, that's the first thing. Why are we giving them money in the first place?
That makes no sense at all.
Why do we need to give daycares money? Daycares are going to make so much fucking money, bro.
You know what theory I heard is that, like, for example, this is one theory. I've heard a bunch, but this is one that I've actually thought kind of made sense. So I've got a family member in Columbus, and they told me that in a certain area in Columbus, there's been basically it's become completely Somalian over the past however many years. And the Walmart in that area is every single person that works there is Somalian. So the idea is that, and again, I don't have evidence of this, I'm just theorizing here. The idea is that Walmart has somehow lobbied the government to bring in Somalian refugees so that they will live in that town where there's a Walmart and then work at the Walmart. And since they're all on SNAP, they then spend all of their money in said Walmart. So they're basically just getting their money back that they're paying for the workers.
Yeah.
And again, when people are like, but I care about the refugees. Well, you're being manipulated. You're being manipulated because the federal government wants to take your money. So they're manipulating your Christian empathy or just wherever your empathy comes from, really. I don't know, man. I just, when I see something like the Minnesota situation, I'm like, well, unless the election over there wasn't legitimate, which is possible, I guess.
That's very possible. I don't trust. I don't trust. I don't Minnesota, California, Seattle, like all these places where shit is fucking horrible, dude. Like it's horrible there. They're getting taxed to death. Homelessness is running rampant. Drug addiction, people ODing in the streets, but yet they keep electing the same people.
Yeah,
who put them in this situation. It starts to get suspicious to me. Like it's not one fucking Democrat area where they're like, you know what? Let's just try something different because things are so bad. No.
Well, what about this? What about this? What about the simple fact that these people aren't doing anything to fight back? The people that are in those areas that are paying those taxes, they deserve what's happening because they're doing nothing to fight back because they've been so comfortable and complacent for so many generations that they think, oh, well, my tax money's being taken by Somalians. This isn't fair. I'm going to complain about it. Go fucking do something. And if you don't, then you deserve it. That's how the world works, man. It's not all fucking butterflies and rainbows, dude.
Yeah.
And that's the whole root of the problem in the United States is that these fucking people have been basically conditioned through the corporate workforce and the education system to sit down at a 9-to-5 and type away and that they're doing their part for society. And I pay my taxes and I make sure that I do what I'm supposed to do. That's not what the country was founded on. You're a fucking idiot.
Definitely not paying taxes. We're never supposed to pay fucking income taxes. It's slavery, dude. It's 3 months out of the year I'm working for the government. Like I can't afford 3 months out of my year to just go to somebody else, bro. Like I need every month I make to survive. So it's insane.
Have you looked at what the Egyptians, their slaves had like time off, dude? Anybody, also for the record, anybody that doesn't realize that we are living in wage slavery at this point, you gotta do a hard reset on your worldview.
Well, they buy into the propaganda of the media, bro. Like, you know, when Tim Waltz comes on and goes, we're going to start these childcare. There's so many struggling families out there, and we're going to start this childcare program. We're going to give subsidies to daycare, so we have more daycares, and it's going to help. It's like people buy into that shit. And they're like, yeah, he's helping us, and then at the end of the day, they get no help. You know, a bunch of. I think what's going on with that, dude. One of the theories, allegedly.
Oh god. No, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, man. What you're saying is funny because Tim Waltz, of all people, is like one of the most obviously full of shit politicians.
Yeah.
And people actually are, you know, I'm going to vote for Tim Waltz. Okay, dude, go fucking blow a homeless guy with AIDS while you're at it, you genius.
It's a team sport, bro. It's a team sport. You know, I'm going to watch the Niners on Sunday, and I'm going to root for the Niners. It's the same thing with them. Like they're Democrats. They don't give a fuck. It's their team. You know, it's their identity. But one of the theories coming out about that is that it's basically a scheme to funnel money back into Democrats, right? So if you remember when Kamala's campaign, this is what I heard. I don't know if it's true, but Kamala's campaign was basically having a fundraising problem. They weren't raising enough money. And then all of a sudden they brought Tim Waltz in. And then with Tim Waltz came all of this fucking money into the campaign. And a lot of people think that's what's going on. It's basically a Democrat scheme to push all these subsidies as millions. And I mean, because some of these daycares are getting millions of dollars, and you're showing up and there's no kids there. Nobody's even in the building. They got security systems and all kinds of shit, but like no kids, like no business is going on, but yet they're getting millions and millions of dollars. And then they're turning around and donating millions of dollars back to Democrat campaigns. So it's basically a slush fund to get back into to the DNC's hands.
Yeah, I mean, dude, good for Minnesotans though, man. They love that guy Tim Walz. Man.
I mean, they want Jesse Ventura back.
If Minnesotans just love Tim Walz so much, I mean, they're getting what they voted for, man.
Yeah.
Did you see that part of that video where that lady shows up and she just starts screaming, "Ice, ice"? Have you seen that part?
The Nick Shirley one.
Yeah.
No, that's what they do all the time.
I mean, dude,
there's always some Karen bitch.
That person is allowed to vote.
Yeah. No,
Think about that.
See, you think that person's stupid? I think that person's in on it, and they're using that as the cover. Like I say ice, that basically warns them that, hey, something's up. You know, I think that person's probably in on the scheme.
Either way, they're allowed to vote, whether they're in on it or not. I'm just saying.
Do you think we should have a system where it's like only taxpayers or landowners? Like, should we do? Because I mean, there's a lot of people that think we should do that.
Dude,
should be an IQ test.
Democracy is. Didn't Athens use democracy and they were like, "Oh, this doesn't work"? Dude, democracy is one of the worst direct democracy, one of the worst forms of government ever.
True, I agree.
Because there's no meritocracy to it. There's no merit to it. There's no even like a feudal system might be better than democracy. A constitutional republic makes sense. That's ideal.
How would you change it? Would you make an IQ test?
Absolutely, have a test for intelligence. Number one.
Okay. Yeah.
That should be a no-brainer.
Some ownership as well.
And then probably the problem with the land ownership thing then does become that back in the day. There was a massive differential in people owning land.
Yeah.
So there is credence to that not being legitimate. And nowadays there's these big, like equity firms that own a bunch of stuff like BlackRock. Then would BlackRock get to vote? That some asshole politician would be like, well, technically corporations are people and they should be allowed to vote. So they own this apartment. So they technically get 47 votes instead of one. Some fucking faggot would do that. So that doesn't necessarily work. But when you have whether it's based on, like an IQ test or some sort, it doesn't even need to really be an IQ test. It needs to be like a civics. What would you call that? Like a civics,
some understanding of how government actually works.
Some sort of civics test.
Everybody in school should they should. They got rid of civics in school, right? But that should come back into school and make sure.
School is a fucking joke, dude. Everybody should never go to school again. It doesn't do anything. It's retarded. But I'm not even kidding.
No, I agree.
I agree. There's maybe some private schools that are good. There's some public schools that are good, maybe, but school is designed to crush your soul. I'm just being honest. The guy that essentially designed it was John Rockefeller, dude.
Yeah, and it was designed after like all the factory jobs. So you have to get people like already accustomed to the style of living, doing a factory job. The bell ringing. Everything was completely set up just to be like working in a factory.
Yeah,
and there's no more factory jobs, so that makes sense, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's actually the funniest part about it is that if there were still factory jobs, I think people would be like, well, maybe school ain't that bad, but they're not. And
we need to get critical thinking back. Like that's the one thing that we've lost. Like I think people are getting dumber, and then now you got AI coming out where like you don't really have to think for yourself anymore. You just, everybody's got their preferred influencer that they like. They put all of their thinking into. It's like, I don't have to think about this. Just this guy told me this is this, so I trust him and I'm going to run with that. It's like nobody's really thinking critically and like analytically anymore. And I think this is a big part of the problem with society in general.
Have people ever really thought critically?
Yeah, well, when life and death was on the line, when you were running a farm out there in the middle of nowhere and you had nobody else to fucking lean on except your own fucking problem solving skills to figure out why your fucking corn isn't growing right. Like, yeah, you had to critically think things, but with the rise of smartphones, the internet, everybody's got the answers to everything in their pocket and they just go, okay, let me type this in. How do I do this? Okay. No critical thinking. No problem solving skills.
The reason that certain landowners and whatnot used to only be the ones that were allowed to vote was because maybe it was obviously it was a pseudo feudal system for sure, but I think maybe also the people that were running these operations, I think they were critically thinking and they were intelligent. But I think a lot of the times some of these like when I think back to like medieval Europe. Do you think the peasants were that intelligent? I don't know. I'm just saying. I don't think there's ever really been a time where the mass collective of people were really that intelligent, and that's why democracy failed in Athens, for example, and that's why democracy it's retarded.
Yeah.
Democracy, like allowing every person to vote, dude. Why would you? Think about like a mentally retarded person voting. That's insane.
Yeah.
That's a crazy thing to do. Nothing against the mentally deficient individuals of the world, but they shouldn't. I don't want them voting.
Well, we have a fan in here who's going to be running for president, so I may maybe not want them voting, but I would vote for one to be president because, like you said, maybe we can make the homeless become president.
Dude, yeah, I agree.
I mean, at least it would stop all the fucking corruption because there would be nothing happening. But yeah, it's tough, man. It's tough, like, to kind of come up with solutions to things because it's hard to even understand what the fucking problem is in the first place.
Well, the problem is that all of our politicians are paid for, essentially. Yeah. And capitalism is reaching its natural end, which is, rampant and unjustified at this point. There's no moral backbone to it. It used to sort of be Christian values. And of course, that comes with the corruption of the churches and the molesting of the children with the priests and whatnot. But there was some level of glue that was holding things together. And that's dissipating. And I would say actually completely gone. We live in a godless society now. And AI is sort of replacing the Christian God as what we look to for answers. AI is basically becoming God. It's the new American God, and we're gonna reap the consequences of that, whether they're positive or negative. And there's nothing you can do about it. That's the other thing that I think is important, that people sort of accept the world that we live in for what it is. Like, I think a lot of times people get caught up on capitalism. It's going to fix everything. Dude, all these systems, democracy, that's a governmental system. Capitalism, that's an economic system. Communism, socialism, feudal system, a totalitarian dictatorship. All of these things have cycles. They only last so long. Nothing's forever. And we have to make sure we remember to live inside of reality where we realize that capitalism in this country will end. It is getting to the point where it's no longer justified.
I don't think we really have a honest, proper capitalism currently because we don't. We've completely dropped the ball on antitrust. Like, capitalism. We haven't
lived in an actual capitalist society since the Fed was created. But
corporate law needs to be reformed. Corporations are not individuals. They need to stop being treated like individuals.
Yeah.
You need the antitrust division of the federal government to be so much more hardcore and so much bigger and so much more aggressive when you see industry starting to, merge, even when it's not a monopoly and it's maybe 3 companies. Maybe it's still at that point, you should still get antitrust in there to do something about it. Because that's the kryptonite to capitalism is a lack of competition. And that's where we're at right now, where it's like you have these giant corporations that just run shit. The average mom and pop can't really start their own small business and compete. Sometimes you can if you get lucky, but a lot of times you're not going to make enough fucking money to be profitable after taxes, you're
totally right. There is no competition now. But what's even worse than the lack of competition is what the kryptonite is to every economic system or governmental system, which is corruption. And it's been corrupt for a very long time. And I think that's kind of what I'm getting at. Have you ever read Solzhenitsyn?
No, of course not. I'm not that smart. Go ahead.
So he spoke a lot about Christianity. He was from Russia, Soviet Russia, and the Soviet Union, rather.
Okay.
And he talked a lot about how Christianity was the backbone that was sort of keeping this justification of the economic system in the United States. Alexis de Tocqueville, another person who his writings influenced me in terms of what the history of the country was. He was from France and he was studying prison reform, and he essentially said that a lot of Americans back in when was this? Is it sometime in the 1800s? He was saying that a lot of these Americans, they didn't even believe in the Christian God, but they said they did to maintain the moral fabric of the country. And sorry, I spit on the screen there.
Oh, you're good.
Anyways, dude, I think that I think things have always been kind of fucked up. They're definitely worse now than when I was born. That's obvious, but we got to come up with new, some degree of something new. I think. I don't know, man. I'm pretty dismayed with politics in general. No. Democracy is retarded. Communism is retarded. capitalism is fucking completely immoral and out of control at this point. I don't trust the government, so socialism doesn't make sense. Anarchy, I feel like everybody's just going to be fucking out of control and blowing each other away. But I'm a positive guy. I don't want to say that we're fucked.
I still think capitalism. If you and here's the problem: you have to have every system's going to fail if you don't have an honest government that's working for the people. Right?
Yeah, good luck with that without some sort of moral compass.
Yeah, and that's where we're at, where we don't have an honest government that's working for the people. And if we had that, I think capitalism could still be great. If we had an honest government that would ensure competition in the marketplace, would stop taxing the fuck out of everybody, because they're using the tax code to basically help corporations keep power.
Yeah, it's crony capitalism, right?
Yeah, as opposed to using a tax code to be like dissuading the higher, like we're supposed to first of all have like a progressive tax code, right? So like the less you make, the less you pay. But yet,
we shouldn't have any taxes, man.
Yeah, but even in that case, like that's not really even a progressive tax system anymore. Doesn't seem like it is.
I don't think.
But yeah, we shouldn't have any taxes. It should be all fucking abolished. We definitely should abolish it. I mean, money can be raised in different ways, and I wish the federal government would kind of go back to kind of more of what the founding fathers' vision is, and states become more of the power structure. And not that states are any better, but if states are more of the ones in power making the decisions, you can move to a different state. You can't move. Moving to a different country is a lot harder than just moving to a different state.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I wish the federal government would just kill themselves.
Good luck. I mean, I wish it would kill 90% of itself, like, except for antitrust. That, like, if I was to run things and I could just be emperor and do whatever the fuck I wanted, I would restore the federal government to being just the bare necessities.
What about an army, though?
Military, yeah, because that's me. What the federal government should be is basically a military pact between the states, right? So they facilitate the defense of every state, defending the borders, maintaining the military, funding the military, antitrust, interstate commerce, like the very basic things. And antitrust needs to be like 100 times more powerful and bigger than what it is now. It needs to be probably the biggest fucking government organization needs to be antitrust. Like, fuck the FBI. We can get rid of the FBI. Just put all those motherfuckers on doing antitrust and things would be so much better. But yeah, I think that's kind of, if we did that, we really cut back the size of the federal government, let things go back to being more state control. And I think it would be better for the American people in the long run,
Yeah.
We'd have more options.
You're not wrong, man. I just think at this point that might, unfortunately, I agree with you in principle, might be a pie in the sky, so to speak.
Oh, making it happen? Making it happen, you're saying? Yeah, of course. We can't do anything anymore.
Well, that's
I'm thinking of solutions, but it's like, of course, we're never going to be able to implement any of these solutions, but it would be nice.
Well, hey, on a different note, dude, I've been watching your fucking supercuts since I was in J school at UT.
Oh, yeah? Was that back in what, 2018, 2020?
Probably around then, yeah. It was a while ago. That's when I first started working on my journalistic endeavors, and I remembered I was like, who the fuck is this guy? This is hilarious. Because I only had social media for a little bit. I never really had it until I started fucking with podcasts and recording stuff like that. But it's cool to meet you, man.
Yeah, well, it's good to meet you too, bro. Yeah,
big fan, dude. Big fan.
I remember. I think it was 20. When were you making documentaries with the Drinking Bros? Was that 2020?
No, that's only been the past year and a half. I've been making YouTube videos forever.
Yeah, it seems like it was much longer. It seems like it was longer than a year and a half ago. I remember watching your shit.
No, Drinking Bros has only been maybe 2 years ago. I don't know, man. I got a pretty bad memory. I probably have brain damage to a degree, and that's my own fault. But
yeah,
I don't know, man.
Too much weed's done it to me, man. I get like where my brain just stops working. I'm like, Jesus Christ.
You just get foggy, dude.
Yeah, I just like go blank. It's the most annoying thing, especially when you're doing a show, and you're like you have a point, and then all of a sudden your brain's just like whoop. It's just off.
Well, that's why, dude. You should try crystal meth.
I should try crystal meth. There's a lot of things I should try, but I definitely need drugs. I think drugs will definitely make it better for me.
Drugs are tools, man. Drugs are tools. Arguably more evil than the federal government is the big pharmaceutical industry, but you can still sort of use the poisons that they spit out to your advantage. Or if you're like me, you got put on Concerta, a stimulant, when you were like 13, and it fucked your brain up, and now you pretty much have to take them to function properly.
What the fuck's Concerta?
It was like Adderall.
Adderall? Yeah, that's probably what I need is some Adderall. Did they say you had ADD?
Yeah, but dude, I try not to take amphetamines like I used to, because I used to take like hundreds of milligrams a day. I was out of control, but I actually started drinking this stuff. I'm always plugging this drink because anybody that's like watching this that thinks I need to stop taking Adderall, or that they want to stop taking Adderall. There's this drink called Newtonic. My buddy Chris made it, and I'm telling you, dude, it is. I got off of Adderall for 2 straight months. I got off Adderall for a month, and then I was dabbling again, and then I got off of it again for 2 whole months, which is insane because I've basically taken it my entire life, amphetamines and stimulants in some form, and it actually works. And a couple people I've talked to, they're like, dude, that shit's too strong for me. So I'm always trying to,
So it has kind of like a stimulant effect when you drink it?
It's just a really good energy drink, basically, and I don't think it's as unhealthy as the other ones.
Is it? What is it? Just caffeine and like taurine and all that shit, or what?
No. It's fuck. I don't really even remember what ingredients are in it. I do know that there's not that much caffeine in it compared to some other energy drinks. Because dude, I was drinking like fucking anywhere between like 1,000 to 2,000 milligrams of caffeine a day, which is fucking insane. But
it's
I was
not good for your heart.
And we were dude, you're telling me.
Have you overdosed on caffeine before?
No, that's not gonna happen to me, dude. I was like, I've done a lot of drugs. I had a heart attack when I was 29, but I had to combine so many drugs together. It was just the cocktail of it was insane. But that's not gonna happen to me. But
you had a heart attack at 29, a drug-induced heart attack?
Yeah, cardiac event. Essentially, it was drug-induced. I got the fuck are those things called? A CAT scan?
Yeah.
Something like that. And they told me that I was in perfect health. I was like, what? I was worried, actually. And then after they told me I was in perfect health, every time something weird's happened to me since then, I don't even worry about it. Not that I was even worried in the first place, but yeah, nonetheless, man, I like plugging Newtonic. They disclaimer, they send me a box of Newtonic every month.
Well,
so,
I gotta try some, because that's what look. I don't take stimulants. All I really do is caffeine and weed. But I'll
send you some, dude. I have a shitload at my house. I literally cannot drink all of it, but I love it.
Please send me some.
I've gotten very few negative feedbacks. The only negative I've ever heard was that people said that it was too strong.
Yeah.
That's actually a positive to a lot of people.
Because I mean, I'd love to have that. I'd love to have. I mean, to be honest, like speed sounds pretty good to me right now. I'm at that point in my life where there are times I have shit to do, and I wish I could just take a pill and just go. You know?
Yeah. Hey, I'll send you some pills too, man. I got those too. I'll send you whatever you need, dude.
Hey, thank you for coming on, brother. We'll do another one. We're planning on talking about the Puerto Rico documentary. We can still set something to talk about that, because I've been enjoying it, and I think that kind of ties into like what's kind of in the zeitgeist right now, which is people realizing how much we're being ripped off by our government.
Yeah. And Puerto Ricans are U.S. citizens, so I've taken a special interest in that, because I don't know. I just I was basically able to get it into the ether and kind of get it back into the news cycle. So if I can get tax money mismanagement in Puerto Rico into the mainstream conversations, and there's people talking about Minnesota and Ohio and all these other places, the more people that expose the government stealing our fucking money, then the better off we are. And I also just kind of love Puerto Ricans, specifically the women. But
I had some crushes on some Puerto Rican women, but I also had the worst boss I've ever had was a Puerto Rican, and he was the most corrupt, conniving, manipulative motherfucker I've ever dealt with.
Yeah, it's sort of in the culture in some capacity there. They kind of fucked each other over. It's unfortunate. I actually had a Puerto Rican rip me off trying to get my bathroom renovated, funny enough, but I still love them. Everybody that I talked to on the island was great. So,
yeah. There's always good and bad with every community. Thank you, brother. Thank you, Gary Faust. I just posted the link to the Street Gonzo channel. Go follow. He makes great. I mean, he's got a ton of great documentaries. You can spend so much fucking time just going back through his catalog of documentaries. So you're not working with the Drinking Bros anymore?
No, we're independent now.
Okay. Yeah, because I always
that
like
Puerto Rican documentary was the first one that we did on our own. So go watch that one if you're going to watch any of them. Help us get that out there because I'm hoping to keep doing this on my own. And the stuff we're doing with Davey too. That Dearborn videos. I was trying to make sure that when I put it together, because I did the editing on it, I was trying to make sure that I didn't put too much sort of ridiculous stuff in it because, the whole trip was sort of abstract. It was like Twilight Zone-ish, and there's a ton of shit that wasn't in there. We were there for a week, dude.
Yeah.
And,
what struck me was like you guys decided to use no musical score. I was like, "Where's the music score?"
Yeah, dude. I
know that's a choice. It's a creative choice.
Yeah. You got a problem with that, man?
I was almost gonna say, do you want me to score the video for you guys? I mean, like, I'm listening. I'm like, I don't know. I enjoyed putting. One of my favorite parts of editing is adding the musical score because to me,
serious question. Be honest. Be honest with me. Was it boring because there was no music?
No, but I think it would have been a little more. It would have grabbed a little harder if there was a little bit of music kind of propelling it. It's hard for me to explain because there are videos of what I've made where it's like it's kind of and then you add if you get the right score, all of a sudden there's like an artistic kind of aspect to it.
Yeah. That's how my normal guy Joel Hodge,
like a momentum that it wouldn't have.
My normal guy Joel, he produces all the Street Gonzo stuff. He's always putting music and crazy edits and flashes. He's the most creative person I've ever worked with.
Have you ever seen There Will Be Blood?
The movie about oil.
Yeah. There Will Be Blood. Yeah,
it's got Daniel Day-Lewis in it.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite movies.
I'm pretty sure I've seen it, but I can't remember it off the top.
Okay, well, it's probably won't hit, but people who know that movie, it's like that. If you didn't have a score in that movie would be pretty terrible.
Well, yeah, but that's a movie.
Well, yeah, true.
You gotta have music in movies.
I'm not saying it's bad because there's no score, but as an editor, I'm like,
I think that you're right.
I wanted to download it and fucking start finding music for it to add to it.
Well, when I make videos, I prefer for them to be as engrossing as possible, meaning I want people to feel like they're there. And, when we're there, there's not music playing. And if there is music playing, then the music will be there. But I have a very, very extremely raw way of doing things. Joel, who normally edits the Street Gonzo episodes, he's like a fucking filmmaker. And he's fucking making shit flash. And
he edited the Puerto Rico one?
Yes.
Yeah.
Very good editing, very polished. It's a feature-length film. It's a lot more. It takes a lot more effort and time and all that. And look, dude, I'm gonna shoot from the hip and just get it done. I don't really care as much I don't think
the average viewer is gonna go, "Where's the score?" That's just me. You know what I mean? The average viewer is just gonna accept.
Well, yeah, you're an editor. That's what I'm saying. I know for a fact that I think actually when you look at YouTube optimization. Because I've done a deep dive researching analytics on YouTube. Music actually hurts the retention rate sometimes. Well, I don't know if it's even has anything to do with the music necessarily, but it's more. I'm not always.
I have a theory.
Well, I think that people they're not going to YouTube to watch movies or really artsy shit or crafts. They're going there to watch something that's real. Just like the same reason why stuff that's recorded on an iPhone, like an iPhone 7, that's kind of grainy and zoomed in at a comedy show of somebody doing crowd work is going to do better than like a professionally filmed set because people are sick of fake shit because Hollywood and mainstream news has destroyed all of that for everybody. And we've seen behind the curtain and we know all those people are full of shit. So now people want real raw shit. authenticity, authenticity maxing. That's what we need to be doing. And the more raw that shit is, the more people are gonna be like, okay, this is actually what happened. They're not gonna think that anybody's full of shit.
Yeah.
But I hate the news, and that's part of the reason why I like to do things differently. I fucking hate the news, dude.
There's also a segment of the population who has a hearing issue where they can't have two different things competing. Like a lot of older people have that problem, but younger people have it as well. Because I mean, I see it all the time where it's like I'll edit something and it's like with my ear, there's no problem picking up what the people are saying. I'll balance out the audio so it's the music, so it's not, and it's like perfect for me. But then there's a segment that's maybe 10 to 15% where because of that, and what works for me doesn't work for them. So that might be affecting the,
And I have horrible hearing.
Yeah, that might be it.
That's why I'm so loud, by the way. I'm not actually trying to be loud. I literally cannot hear myself talk most of the time.
Too many concerts, huh? Too many concerts?
No. I just listen to music on full volume anytime I listen to music, which is, stupid. And I probably should not be allowed to vote.
That's the way it's supposed to go, though, man. Music is better the louder it is. That's one thing my dad never understood. He'd be like, why is the music always so loud? It's like, it's better when it's louder.
Turn that down.
Yeah. It's like, he's like, every time he listened to music, it'd be like the lowest level you could possibly hear it. And I'd be like, I don't even understand how you enjoy it like this. It's so fucking terrible. Like, turn it up.
Well,
yeah.
All right, man, thanks for having me. I'm in Vegas. I'm going to go get a prostitute. So I will see you guys. Check out Street Gonzo YouTube and Instagram and all that. It's Street Gonzo on all the socials and whatnot. And then next time I come on, we can talk about Puerto Rico more in depth because
for sure,
I'm trying to tell people it is literally a microcosm of the United States.
Yeah, it makes sense, man. Thank you, brother. You have a great night.
I appreciate you, dude. Later.
Take care, brother. Welcome. Thank you, everybody, for watching the show. We'll see you tomorrow. I should be back tomorrow, Friday night. So we'll see you back tomorrow. I'm very under the weather today, so hopefully I don't get worse tomorrow. I don't know what's going on, but I feel like shit. So we'll see. We'll see. I should do a show tomorrow. Much love, everybody. Y'all have a wonderful night. No outro because I'm on StreamYard and I don't have the outro on StreamYard. So if you like the outro, you can get it next episode. It'll be back. Much love, everybody. Have a great night. We'll see you next time.